on how I relocated to Canada, my relocation story. A lot of people reach out to me to ask questions about how they can go about becoming a permanent resident. So I relocated to Canada without writing IELTS, and I also did not do WES evaluation, so I didn't evaluate my credentials. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Oluwabusayomi and I film content from Canada. And if you're an old subscriber, thank you for always stopping by and thank you for always clicking my video to watch. I love you guys so much. And before I start this video, I'd like to give a shout out to RBFS because she's sponsoring this video. And RBF is a Nigerian brand hair. They deal with revamping of wigs and they also make braids. So the hair I'll be wearing in this video is from RBFS. I just want to show you guys before I go ahead to wear this hair. And you can see that this wig is neatly made. Once I put it on, you guys cannot tell that this is a wig, and that is what we're talking about. They deal with neatly made braids and the finishing is just wow. So I want you guys to go ahead now and purchase your own braided wig, or if you want to revamp your old wigs, please patronize RBFS. I'll be putting the details in the description box, so you guys should go ahead, and I'll also be giving you guys like a 10% discount code that you can use to shop, because who doesn't like or discounts? So guys, before I get into the video, let me put on my wig first and then we'll get into the business of the day. Okay? Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how I moved from Nigeria to Canada as a permanent resident without writing IELTS and without evaluating my credentials. I'm sure you guys are wondering, that is that possible? Yes, it is very, very possible. I'm going to be sharing this information with you, with my husband, because I relocated with my husband as a family of 2. So if this is the video you want to watch, you know what to do. Just grab your seat, relax, and let us get right into today's video. Okay, the I seat. We'll bring it to the special seat, my husband, Mr. A. Hi Mr. A, welcome to my YouTube channel today, and thank you for gracing our channel. We really appreciate you. So let's get started. So can you just give us a background story, because you started as a single applicant? Can you give us a background story of how you were able to start the whole process before marriage? Or let me even start like this, what even motivated you to start?
Like I said, I'm not a good storyteller, so I don't know how I'm supposed to start this story.
Yeah, you can just start anywhere. What motivated you to start the PR application?
What motivated me to start the PR application? I mean, Nigeria motivated me. So I've always wanted to have an experience of living in another country, right? So way before starting the process for the PR in 2019, I already had tried to leave Nigeria via other routes like education, one time in, let's say, 2008, then another time in, let's say, 2015, but it didn't work. So in, I think, 2018 or 2017, I also wanted to leave via like higher education route, but that also didn't work. Then I think what happened was where I was working, then a lot of people were moving to,
like, relocating to other country abroad.
well, not, yeah, other countries via education and all. But I mean, most importantly, I've always I've always had Canada like top priority on places I wanted to migrate to, because I already knew about this. It was called, I think, Federal Skilled Worker back then, and it was paper based. And I think some point it became electronic based. So in 2018, when after I tried to come to the same Canada using the PhD route and it didn't work, my second option was to come using PR. But I mean, the reason I was placing higher priority on PhD route was because then I was looking for a means of coming where I wouldn't have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I was looking for like opportunities where I'll get full funding PhD, but I didn't get that. So then where I was working, then a lot of people were coming to Canada via the express entry route. So I started doing my research, and I think at some point someone that was kind of close to me at work left, and he said some things to me the day he was breaking the news to me, which made me now start the process in 2019. So that was how it all started. I registered for WES. I did my WES verification, because that was, I mean, the first thing you need to do when you want to come via this express entry route is to get your highest degree verified by an evaluation body, whether WES or ICAS. I used WES. Then that was like mid 2019. Then towards the end of 2019, I wrote WES. And
sorry to cut you short, and you tried to evaluate your WAEC then as well.
Yeah, so then I think WES came with a criteria for evaluating your degree for Nigerians, where we also had to evaluate our WAEC.
Yeah.
So that was why I did that. I think now they are no longer.
So it's just like your highest degree that you evaluate. So
yes.
in the case that you have bachelor's as your highest degree, that's what you evaluate. If you have master's, then you evaluate master's. So I think that's how it works now.
Yes. So
and the next step for you after evaluating your credentials with WES was to
okay.
write
So
the IELTS.
I wrote IELTS, and okay. I mean, I had already calculated my. I mean, probably she will link it in the description. So I mean, the first set of things you need to do is use the CRS calculator, and depending on your situation, whether you are married, single, whatever it is, then I mean you wouldn't have written IELTS then, but use they usually advise that you get at least 8777. That's 8 in listening, then 7 in other categories. So
sorry, does that mean that if you have like lower score in the listening, say like 6 or 6.5, you don't get qualified?
You would qualify. Okay. Not like you would have a score, but your score will be really low.
Really low. Okay, so to max out, then you would like have to get the 8,
minimum of 8 in listening and 7 in other bands.
That's writing, speaking, and
reading. Yeah. So
and then you did your IELTS.
I did my IELTS, but yeah, with MOD. I think that there's British Council and MOD. So I did my, what is it called, IELTS. So I'd already calculated my score using the CRS calculator, which I usually advise people. That's like the first thing you need to do. Calculate your score based on you getting at least 8777 in your IELTS. That's what you should aim towards. So calculating the score, you see that if you put an higher score, like for example, you put 9 in your listening, put 8 in other ones, you see that your score gets higher depending on your situation. So
and your age as well.
Yeah, in the CRS calculator, there are like, I would say three things majorly. There are other things that could give you more points, like you having a sibling here. I think that's just 10 or 15 points. But majorly, the length of your work experience, your score in your English test, and your highest degree of education. Those are like the 3 ones that are like really directly under your control. And for me, then I already had master, so that was my highest degree. What people do that have bachelors is that you can also have 2 or more degrees, which is an higher band or gives you an higher score than masters, by doing some programs like there's one British Computer Society exam, BCS. That's for if you're in tech. I mean, for people in accounting, you can do there's one level before ICANN, AAT or something like that. Programs for people that are into maybe HR that you could do to because if you have BSc, your score might be low, but if you do these programs, you have higher score by evaluating them. So I did the WES and the IELTS, and with my IELTS, I think I had the 8777 then. So I think I was on like 440 something for my first. So I was in the pool. But mind you, this was late 2019. And at this point here, we had already started dating. So she was aware, because even when I was trying in 2018 to come via the PhD route, we were trying to do this together because but we were not married, we were still dating. So why I was talking about using the CRS score to calculate is because I already calculated painting the scenarios of me being a single applicant or me being married. Then I also used that as the primary applicant. So the best option was for me to be a single applicant, right? Because she only had BSc, and I mean at that time I wanted to just enter the pool, and before she would go and do all the second courses and all of that. And I mean that was even like when COVID, we were just hearing the news of COVID. We didn't even know what was coming in 2020. So yeah, we didn't even know what was coming in 2020. So but I was already in the pool, and 2020 came and everywhere was shut down. Like Sabino, shut down.
Shut down.
Oh, now work don't settle. Hey, shut down. Who the Zuzu?
So I mean, IRCC then stopped doing draws, because mind you, another important thing I think you should link in the video is there's a forum called Nairaland.
Yes.
And there is a forum for people trying to come to Canada via this route. So it was, I've been checking a lot of stories, reading the forum, following up with people's stories on the forum. So it was on this forum that I found out that it was possible for me to enter the pool as a single applicant and get married along the line and add my wife. But I mean, it had to be at some point in the process. At some point in the process. So I was already aware of this. So the plan was, I was supposed to get invitation to apply, and after getting the invitation to apply, document and wait for them to acknowledge receipt. Then I can go ahead to do whatever I want to do. So in 2020, there were no draws for federal skilled worker, which is the category I fell under then. So I mean, they were only doing draws for people that had provincial nominations or people that had Canadian experience. So we were there just waiting. And what happened?
You did another IELTS.
Yeah, so towards mid 2020, I just decided to see if I could get an higher score in IELTS. So I wrote another IELTS, and yes, I had an higher score. So I now had like 467 or so. So what happened was, towards the end of 2020 in December, they now resumed federal skilled worker draws again. So the last draw they did in 2020 December was 468, and I was 467. Mind you, around November 2020, I also got invitation to apply from Ontario for PNP.
That's provincial nomination.
Yeah. So, but I had like 3 months to submit. So I was hoping, because of that last draw they did in December, I was just 1 point away from the last draw. So and the scores usually drop for every next draw. So I was hoping that the next draw they will do January 2021. I'll get the invitation because I still had till like February 2021 to submit my PMP application. But 2021 came and they resumed back PMP invitation. So they were not doing
provincial nomination and also CEC draws.
Yeah, so I had to just because I didn't. I mean, applying for the Ontario stuff was going to cost me $1,500. So I mean, that money could do some.
Add to your POF.
Or you could use it to do soft life in Lagos. So, yeah, so I didn't want to pay that money, but I paid. I think in February or January, I paid days to the deadline for the PMP application. So I applied for that when I noticed that they were no longer doing FSW draws. And I mean, usually this application is supposed to take like 3 months, but ours took like 6 months. So I didn't get nominated until like maybe late May, May, June of 2021. But after I was nominated, I had 600 points added to my score. So, and all this period they were only still doing PMP and CEC, nothing for FSW guys. So,
and also while waiting, I think you had already done your medicals up front. So just in case, just hoping that when you get the invitation.
No, immediately I got it. Was after I got the invitation. You know, it's after I get the invitation to apply, I'll need to submit the documents. So after I got the invitation, I booked for medicals, prepared all the documents needed.
And it's always good to book your medicals ahead, because for you to get a slot for medicals again, like you have to wait.
I mean, you can't book medicals until you get ITA now.
Yeah, that's like after ITA.
PMP, I was nominated. More points were added to my score, and I got ITA, and I submitted my documents as still a single applicant. And yes, we were not married then because we had a plan. So after submitting, we then did our cuts. After submitting as a single applicant, there's something called AOR, acknowledgement of receipts from IRCC. They acknowledge the receipt of my documents. So I mean, from all the things I've been reading on Nairaland, at this point I could get married. I mean, IRCC also understands that your situations could change at any time. I mean, things happen, life happens, so you just need to notify them, right? So what happened was we then did our court wedding. But we did our court wedding when?
We did our court wedding in November
2021, and we did our white wedding in December. So after the white wedding in January 2022, I then sent IRCC a mail with all the documents, our certificates, our what is it called? Pictures to prove that we got married, the court wedding pictures, white wedding pictures.
And we even provided chats, like years, like since we started chatting. And
all this information I got all this information from Nairaland. And at some point I joined some Telegram group. Those groups were also very helpful. So I sent the mail. Then there's also one portal where you could upload all these documents, did all of that, and they didn't respond until February. That was when they added her to my profile. So
now this is my story.
This is our own story.
Okay, so my husband added me to his profile in January. He notified IRCC in January 2022 that I was already married.
So just before you continue, right? Yeah. At this point, after AOR, is only when you can add, do something like this, and they will not require. Okay.
I'll just add it to my story. Okay. So in January 2022, he added me to he notified IRCC that I was married, and then we provided pictures, marriage certificates, chats from way back, just to prove to them that we were legally married. And then at this point, you know, he had already gotten the AOR, that's the acknowledgement of receipt, and that is when IRCC will confirm that okay, he can like would add me to his profile, and then I didn't have to write the IELTS examination, and I also did not have to evaluate my credentials, right? Because he has already gotten the invitation to apply. His score is like locked. Yeah, locked down.
There's something they call it after AOR, your score is locked down.
Nothing can change your score again. Like anything you do to any notification or any update that you do to your profile, maybe you are married or like you have
I mean, life happens.
Yes. So there's nothing that will happen to your score again. Your score is not going to drop, right? So then after that, after you notified them in January, they acknowledged the documentation and they requested that I go for my biometrics. I think that was late February or early March. Meanwhile, I'd already done my medicals in January as well, and my police report. I did that in Ikoyi, and I also did my medicals with IOM at Ikeja, and I paid a sum of 46,500. And then for the police character reports was like around 10 to 15k there, but I'm not so sure. But I did that in Ikoyi. So after I did the biometrics in like late February, early March, then the wait started. We started hoping again that okay, they would get back to us, approve the application, and yeah, give us the PPR, that's the passport request, like send us a notification requesting for our passport. And then it got to a point like my husband was always calling IRCC, sending mails
from this same Nairaland and Telegram. I mean, there were ways you could call IRCC. It's not straightforward, but you could actually reach them to confirm status of the application. You can also send mails. I mean, replying to mails might not be as fast as, and they don't even give, they just provide generic responses. So we were on this for like February till you know I'm very bad with dates. When did we get PPR?
Was we got PPR
July?
in June. Mid-June.
Yeah, so yeah, we got the request for our passport in mid-June.
And before that day that they requested for our passport, I remember that you called them. I think they sent us passport request on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and he called them like a day before. They said that they were doing like security check.
So after she was added to my profile, then they went back to, I mean, there are stages in all of these things. So that they do checks, background checks, security checks.
Yes.
So they said they were on security check, and I mean they've been telling me this thing for like the last 3 times I called them. So yeah, so I think because she was always asking for updates.
I know, we were always like I was always hoping like every morning I was always hoping that you'll get a notification from them. And also just to add to it, that the proof of funds for one person when it was a single applicant actually changed, because it was part of like the document that we sent to them in January 2022. So we also sent like updated proof of funds that was adding me. So we used the proof of fund for family of 2. So that's what we use. So that there's like a proof of fund like expected that they expect you to have in your bank account. And they also verify
you can also put that for them. So depending on your family size.
Depending on your family size, there's a proof. And I think they recently updated that as well. So when my husband called them like a day before we got our PPR, it was like he's not going to call them again. Like that's the end. We got to a point we even had to send them a bill that our rent was expiring. Okay, so we're sending mail to them, and my husband also called. So the day before we got PPR, he made up his mind I wasn't going to call them, like he wasn't going to even reach out to them. And then the following day we got the notification, like it was even very early in the morning. My husband saw the notification on his
I saw a mail saying I have an update on my profile. So
and he was even very scared to check. It was like, oh. Like I was just so scared.
My application was kind of complex. I added wife along the way.
Yes.
I mean, I've had visa refusal to the United States in the past, and I mean on those group chats I am, there are always people saying, oh, if you've had visa refusals,
That's the end.
No, that you might delay your application.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had that. There was something. I think I didn't some. Okay, yes, I didn't. So there's a place in the application where they ask you if you've had visa before, and I said no. So I had to raise a web form. Yeah, there's something called web form to inform them that that was a mistake on my part. I've actually had before, but it's a long time ago, like 2008 or something. So all those things, sometimes they used to give me panic attack.
Like maybe that's like, why would you lie to us in the first place or something? But yeah, alas, we got the golden mail. That's what people call it. They call it the golden mail. We received the golden mail in June, and yeah. So after we received the mail, so we were actually hoping to land in Canada in like late November, December, because my own medical was going to expire in January. So we're thinking they will use my medical to like, so when they give you when they request for your passport, there are like some things that they use to determine when you should land.
So it's usually when your passport will
expire or your medical. Yeah, so and because our passport was not going to expire like anytime soon, the next thing was my own medical, which will expire. So his own medical was supposed to expire in August, in September, and my own medical would expire in January. So we're thinking maybe they will use my own medical to like determine when we were supposed to land. So when they requested for the passport, we submitted that to them. Like the next day, we went to Studio 24 to take our passport pictures, and we submitted that. So we're just hoping that okay, we'll get the passport back maybe like 2 to 3 weeks after. That also took like a month and a week, or a month and
Everything
2 weeks.
About Canada is
It's no Canada is if you're about to start, or if you're in the process, you understand that you need to be patient and just live your life.
Yeah.
The
process is better now. I've seen people getting it. That started in 2022
and they're already in Canada.
Or less. So the application. So that's why I tell people now, just get in that pool if you really want to come.
Just get in the pool and start all the process. So when we got our passport back, then they shocked us that we got our passport back. They were like, we need to land in September, like first week of September. We're like, wow. And that time we had not yet gotten our tickets.
We
had not yet started preparing.
We were already checking, but we were checking towards November.
So because the time, so we got our passport back like mid-July, or like towards the end of July. So we had to like start the whole process, and the flight ticket then was very, very expensive because we were supposed to land in September, and that was like when also students land in Canada. So like the tickets
that summer.
Summer. So like it was so expensive.
Tickets was high then.
But well, thanks to God that He provided for us, and we're able to get that, and also we're able to do all our preparation and all that, and yeah, we finally landed in Canada. Okay, so just to recap, the whole process started in 2019, started in 2019 and ended in 2020. So that's like almost 3 years, right? Wow, almost 3 years. But we're grateful to God that it ended in praise, and just to give you guys hope and courage that anything you want to do, if you want to, like anything you set your mind to do, actually is very, very achievable. It might just take time, but you just have to press on and keep pushing and hoping. So just to let you guys know that I came to Canada without writing IELTS and WES, with the help of my husband, and that was because he started as a single applicant, and he was also able to get the Ontario nomination, which gave him additional 600 points. And at that time, he got the acknowledgement of receipt after he submitted all his documents. And at that time, there was nothing that was going to happen to his score. So he added me, and I didn't have to write IELTS, and I also did not have to evaluate my credentials. So at least that saved us like some change, that part. So if you want to go through this route, just know that you have to hold on any wedding ceremony. If you are still single, you have to hold on any wedding ceremony. And yeah, you have to do more research. Mr. A, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. We really appreciate it. So guys, just to wrap this up, just make sure that you do your research, pray, hope, and yeah, everything is definitely going to fall in place. I'm going to put links to like how you can calculate your score, how you can the WES link for evaluating your credential, and also where you can, how you can prepare for your IELTS, and yeah, any other link that I feel it will be helpful for you, I'll definitely put on my description, on the description of this video, so you guys can go through that. And if this video has actually helped you or enlightened you in a way, please don't forget to leave me a very good comment, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. Please, I'm begging, please don't forget to subscribe. It is very, very important. And if you know someone that also wants to go through this route that I went through, please don't hesitate to share this video with them. Please share my video with them. And if you have any other question that is not addressed in this video, please leave your question in the comment box. I will definitely respond to you. Okay, and yes, so this is going to be like the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking around, and thank you so much for staying till the end of this video. I love you guys so much. And I see you in my next one. I just want to wish you guys a happy new year, a prosperous 2023, a fulfilling 2023. And yeah, I just want to wish you guys all the best. And if you are still, in the waiting process for something, I pray that God grants your heart desire and God come through for you in like full force, because when God came through for us, he actually choked. So I pray God will come through for you in like full force, ways that you don't expect. Okay, until I see you guys in my next video, stay cool. Bye.